integrantes del alto mando militar que están en el operativo del Plan República, que está en todo el país. Recordar que son más de 148.000
live images in our screens of the President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, exercising, arriving at this school in the capital of the country to exercise his right to vote in Sunday's municipal elections. Right now the President is greeting all the different authorities, in the case of the Bolivarian forces that we're seeing right there, who have been in charge of safeguarding the vote across the country. We had reports from Vladimir Padrino, Defense Minister, who was reporting earlier that so far no incident has been recorded across all voting centers, all polling stations in the nation, and that the voting continues in peace and complete normality. We are seeing, as we were saying, the live images of President Nicolás Maduro, accompanied by first combatant Celia Flores. We're seeing on the right there, greeting also the authorities present here at this school, where the President will exercise his right to vote in these municipal elections. A municipal election that is also electing as well over 2,400 local councillors, and in total 335 mayors of the 335 municipalities that are distributed across the country. It's an important election because it's the final, it's the third closing this cycle of elections. We must remember last year in July, Venezuela held the presidential elections, and earlier this year they held also the regional elections. They had the governorships, where the Bolivarian Revolution, the Great Patriotic Coalition, achieved an outstanding victory, winning all but one governorship. And this election will serve to consolidate the governance of the Great Patriotic Pole as it continues to work towards the recovery of the country. Recovery, as we have heard the reports by the authorities, that have registered 17 consecutive months of 17 consecutive quarters of economic growth, following all the different policies that have been implemented by the ruling coalition. Now we are seeing the President just enter the polling stations, where he's going to go through the horseshoe system, which is the one that has been used in Venezuela for over a few years now in every electoral process. So we are seeing President Nicolás Maduro go through the first stage, which is the one where they identify his identity. He shows his ID, which is the only required document, puts his fingerprint, the system recognizes him, and then he moves on to exercise his vote in an electric machine, which is very quick, very safe, that has been proven to be one of the best voting systems in the world due to its transparency and guarantees of security. This electronic machine will then give a ticket as evidence of the vote that in this case the President did, and then he continues to the next stage of this horseshoe system, where he puts the receipt of the election, which then can be corroborated. What is on the machines and what is on paper can be, then the authorities, when the vote counting process begins, they corroborate that for every vote that is in the machine there is a paper that certifies that vote. And then finally, in the last stage of this horseshoe system, the President signs his name, making a complete certification of the vote that he just made, and like that, in less than a minute, the vote was carried out. And this is the horseshoe system that is implemented for all voters. It is not something that is just that we're seeing now with President Nicolás Maduro, but throughout the day, citizens have been voting in the same manner, very quick. That's why the elections in Venezuela are considered one of the best, because they are very quick, effective, and the machines provide the necessary security, which can be audited, which are always audited going ahead of this election process, and that's why the authorities in Venezuela describe them as one of the best, if not the best, in the world. So we just saw President Nicolás Maduro exercise his right to vote in these municipal elections. For the first time in the case, President Nicolás Maduro does not take part because he's over 35 years of age, but On this occasion, for the first time, the Venezuela is also holding the first public youth consultation where youth elect their projects for their communes. In this case, in the moment of the voting, we are now seeing the first combatant Celia also is going to exercise her vote, and will go on through the same process. And as we were saying, when the people that are between the ages of 15 and 35 also, in parallel to these elections, take part in the first public youth consultations, where there are over 30,000 projects in total, and they will be voting on 5,000 that will be implemented after the direct election of the youth of Venezuela, making and deepening the protagonist character of democracy in Venezuela in this new model of doing policy and doing democracy in the country, which has been implemented in Venezuela with these popular consultations. We have had several now in terms of general communes, but now today, this Sunday, in parallel to these municipal elections, is the time of the youth, which is the first one that is done directly for and with the youth sector of the country. And as we just saw in our images, the first combatant just exercised her vote very quickly as well, going through the horseshoe system, where she puts her fingerprint on the machine, which makes it available, votes, puts the paper on the box, and carries on to sign to confirm that she voted. And with this, the whole voting process is completed. These are the live images we are seeing. We also saw different other authorities also exercise their right to vote and gave some brief declarations where they were also encouraging people to go out to vote and saying how the process was unfolding in complete normality. And with this, both the president and the first combatant have exercised their right to vote. We're going to pay attention to see if there's going to be any declarations by the president or the first combatant following their voting. We are seeing the president right now is speaking with the people that are there. We're going to wait for a moment to see if there are official statements to the press, so we can have them live here on our screen for our audience. As we were saying, Venezuelans are today voting in this paramount election, where they are electing 335 mayors for all the 335 municipalities across the nation, and as well they are electing the over 2,400 local councillors in this paramount election held this Sunday, which closes the electoral cycle of this year, both with the election of the president last year and earlier this year with the election of the National Assembly and the governors of all of the over 24 governorships that are divided in the country. That election was also historical, because for the first time the state of Guayana Esequiba was part of that parliamentary elections. We are seeing now the president continues to greet all the different authorities and officials that are here at this school in the capital of the Venezuelan capital, as he exercised his right to vote. So in this electoral process, we were saying in parallel for the first time, Venezuelans are also those that are between 15 and 35 years of age are taking part as well in the first public youth consultation, where it's a consultation for the different projects for the communes, taking in the perspective of the youth sector. There are over 30,000 projects that have been put up to be voted on this election across the nation, and over 5,000 will be elected across the country, which will have which will be sponsored by the government. The budget will be given by the government to implement those projects that the youth vote on, and they detect as the primary focus that those investments should be made. So we continue to see live these images on our screen while we wait to see if there are any kind of statements coming from the Bolivarian president. Coming into this electoral day, which has been characterized by peace and tranquility, the National Electoral Council, under the direction of Elvira Amoroso, has guaranteed, as we were saying, a transparent and efficient process. And among the notable achievements are the updating and clean up the electoral register, allowing millions of Venezuelans to participate. There are over 21 million people that have been called to participate in this electoral party that is being held today in Venezuela this Sunday, 27th, July 27th. The Electoral Council has also implemented advanced technology to ensure the speed and reliability of the vote, and has provided with extensive electoral information and education campaign to motivate citizens' participation. Now, this electoral process is framed by a series of reforms and proposals promoted by the government, including the incorporation of the Essequibo territory as a state. The national government has promoted the active participation of all sectors, guaranteeing respect for the will of the people and political plurality. Social organizations and youth movements have been leading players in the promotion of participatory and truly protagonist democracy. The Electoral Council has set up election centers throughout the nation, guaranteeing access even in the most remote areas, the participation of national observers and the presence of observers from various political organizations reinforce confidence in the results, and there are also international observers that are being part of this electoral day. For the municipal elections that are being held, as we were saying, the electoral authority set up approximately 20,410 polling stations across more than 15,700 voting centers throughout the country, and these polling stations are staffed by approximately 90,000 people that are trained to ensure the electoral process runs smoothly. In addition, on the same date, the youth public consultation is held with another 15,937 polling stations set up to choose projects which are prioritized by the youth. I believe that the President is getting ready to provide statements to the press here at this school in the capital. Let's see if we can hear the statements in a moment. They're about to begin. They are preparing the microphone. Let's listen.
We are transmitting here, and we've got here the international observers as guests of our Americas and other countries, and here there are the mothers of Plaza de Mayo of Argentina that have inspired us during all times and continue to inspire us for the truth. So I greet them, I greet each of the voters here at the school facility. And so I would like to say that this is a deed. 12 months, in Venezuela, we have been voted 7 times nationwide, in which you see that there is an electoral process so with that active turnout. So as they have been just casting their vote, exercising their right to vote as the Constitution stipulates. So the president is not designated by the empire, it is designated by the people. So those workers on the street, so that Guaidó, which is a clown, who is a clown and failed man, who walks on the streets of Miami, so we have seen cases of, and we have seen miracles. On July 28th, a year ago, in December, pardon me, in August, consultation of national projects. In December, election for the new and modern law of the judiciary. National consultation in April. National consultation of communities. 5,336 communal circuits. And the neighbors decide their projects. On May 25th, there were simultaneous elections of the legislative power and the governorates of the country. They were extraordinary, monumental. The historical bloc. And so right now we are just on the 7th elections to elect the 335 municipal councils. And for the first time we are just having the public consultation of the youth for them to select, for the youth to select the projects, the communal projects. So right now we voted on the municipal elections. And so the vote is secret. I cannot tell you my vote. And so someone asked me, who do you vote for? But I cannot tell that. Teresa Melendez Rivas, a great partner of fight, and to the head of the Unified Command of the Bolivarian Revolution, the Dr. Jorge Rodriguez, and the head of government of Caracas, Raúl Fernández, and the deputy by Caracas, Maduro Guerra, and the first lady and first combatant and deputy Cilia Flores. We voted here in 10 seconds, and I say too much because it was very quick. This is a system, an automated system which is very advanced, and whoever wants to see it, we are open to share it. 10 seconds. In 10 seconds, I voted directly to the mayorship and the municipal council. So the ballot checkup, and then I walked through a hall, and then I proceeded to vote for the first time with a lot of joy for the project of the youth. I voted, I think, for the best project for our neighbors, for you to know. We are on the communal circuit, Simón Bolívar, that comprises 5,400 families, including our family, because voting together preserves the family united. A united family remains united. 9 communal councils, 4,500 families, and over 500 citizens of different ages. We live here in an urban area of the great housing of Venezuela. So we are here, patriots of Bolívar, caciques Apaguana Paramaconis. It's a beautiful to remember the great chiefs of the of the indigenous people. And so Rocio Communal District dreams of Chavez community, and, well, 9 communal councils organized. Greetings to all neighbors. Today, we are gonna elect 335 mayorships. That's a fact. On July 27th, today in the evening, the National Electoral Council will issue who are the mayors, mayors and councils, men and women of the 335 municipal councils. With all, we just complete the constitutional circuit of this period, the constitutional cycle that was very near, as you know. We have had another datum for you communicators. With this election, we have held 33 elections in 23 years. In 33 years. So, on the previous elections, we have won 30 elections. Each election is different. We have made 7 consultative referendums, which were the first one was on August 15th, 2004, which was a very revolutionary referendum that we just removed the fascism. Presidential elections, every time presidential elections are held, some people say that how come you are gonna do so many elections with blockade sanctions, with threats of the imperialism. We give a damn of what the imperialism does, because Venezuela continues with its cultural life, because we don't care about the imperialism. So we don't care about what the imperialism says or does, because we are rebellious people. We are strong, rebellious, dignified, and sovereign people. So in those conditions, with Guarimbas in 2017, we made that of governorates of the mayorships of constitutions, and in 2018 we've made the presidential. And right now, with the recovery of our economy and the growth of our economy, we have complied with our people, with the pandemics, with the pandemic. Do you remember, Jorge? Jorge remembered that on the pandemic, the opposition said that we weren't able to do the elections. They always make up something. So in 2020, there was time for renew the National Assembly to get out of the fascists. And here, using face masks, we came here to vote, and the National Assembly was renewed. And so we brought peace and tranquility and helped us to the economic recovery. In 2021, it was time, and so we've got the effects of the pandemic, and in 2021 it was time for renewing and there we renewed mayorships and governorates. And so right now, it was in this year, there was the presidential elections. Well, there was, and so we defeated the fascism, and there are other the fascists just launched here. The imperialism, interventionism was emerged here to impose a president, a National Assembly, a Supreme Court, just started by Venezuela, and the first one to defeat to defeat the imperialism were the Venezuelans. So this message must be broadcast over there, but must be disseminated. And so we renewed on May 25th the governorships, the National Assembly, with good results. And right now, at this heat today, even though it is raining in the west, we have held this election to renew the 335 mayorships of the 335 municipalities. So I congratulate the youth. I have here in this communal circuit, we have made 3 consultations. We have made 3 consultations here, Celia. The first consultation was, won the voting of the project for the health kits for primary attention, and it was executed. And the second voting of that consultation was to reorder the parking, and the mayors of Caracas gave the example and allocated the resources and financed the second project, as we are just doing it right now. The second consultation was in February, Celia. And the rehabilitation project of the Central House, Miriam Mijares, won, which is a very beautiful project, and it is in execution right now. We have to be updated about this in case they need support. So lots of these buildings were built without parking lots, so it is an issue that they are just taking care. And the third consultation won the plan of strengthening the eco-socialist project, and these are projects arranged by communities, not by bureaucrats. So community proposed, then approve, and then there are elections and win the one that get most voted. And so the reinforcement of lining and security in all urban areas won too. These are the priorities of what we call the concrete action agenda that communities have. So for international observers, I wish that you could go, and if you didn't go, you go right now. Just select any community for you to see, at arriving at the community, the empowerment, the organization, and how all communities have their action plan, the action agenda. They are 70 plans, and so it is the real democracy, the direct democracy. It is the complete democracy, the popular democracy. So right now, I spoke to all governors. And tomorrow we will have mayors and mayoresses elect, and so I am gonna summon to a meeting with all mayors and mayoresses of the 335 municipalities and with the 34 governors of the country to make a plan to deepen and accelerate the action agendas and guarantee the attention to the youth, and guarantee, as of this youth consultation, guarantee that the over 5,000 communal circuits receive the financing to all the projects. That's gonna be very fast, the money to execute all the projects elected, but guarantee anything, guarantee at all costs that the 5,336 communal circuits be financed without any justification or failure. So we would be talking about the projects here, and so far, so we are just advancing and improving and completing. That's why I am telling you that go and vote for the candidate that you wish, that you like, that you trust. There in your mayorship, in your municipality, for the councillors, men and women, and mostly go and participate supporting the young people of your communities for the projects that they themselves defined. Here, see the projects. Pardon that I extend my speech, but it is very impressive. Look at all the projects of the youth. The first one, to create the digital arts school. It is a beauty, isn't it? The second one, the creation of an arts and jobs school for youth, and then to improve the means of transportation. Second, rehabilitate and organize the sports area, the sports facilities that must work, and so they want to have the faculties of universities for them to go to the universities here. And the sixth, shelter of pets with vets, and it is a beautiful task. It is a kindness, and it shows kindness. How can you just bring your kitty or your rabbit, your pigs there? Once a friend gave a pig for getting fat, but then they named the pig Pepe, and so Pepe right now is part of the family, and so he remained as a pet, as running all over the place. He has a place to sleep, so this is a kind idea. A shelter of pets. And seventh, robotics and science lab in Herminia Mijares facility. So we adults and you, the elderly, must go out and support the youngsters that have dreams, to give the power to the youth, the power of culture, the power of politics, and so forth. So these are beautiful days. This is the 7th election in 12 months. So if you get the average 12, so it is like an election by 1.4, 1.7 months. That's the estimate. And so the model of imperial democracy is running out, is decaying, it's backsliding, and it doesn't work for humanity. So it is necessary to construct a new model of real democracy, direct democracy, in which billionaires do not lead, in which the people lead, because democracy must be with the people and for the people. So I like to express these ideas. I am at your service. President, good afternoon. I'm Jorge Pineda from Union Radio. I've got two questions. First of all, you speak about popular democracy. What do you mean by that, and how these changes would be boosted by the ruling party? and lately there have been some exchanges with the United States, and I would like to know if there is the possibility that in the short midterm, long-term midterm, there would be a direct communication with Washington and Caracas. Well, we hope so. These are very difficult things to foresee because today they do one thing and tomorrow they do the opposite. And so one day they launched a bomb, and then on the other day they said that they wouldn't do that. So we have to act with the diplomacy of peace, with iron nerves, and to work on what we believe, because we cannot depend on anyone. Fortunately, as I can say as President of the Republic today, our homeland, which is the birth of the liberators of the Americas, does not depend on anyone or anything. We think with our own minds, and we are not subduing to anyone. We are not depending on what the U.S. thinks, and that is very sad. I am very sad with the Venezuelan far right wing, and for example with Milei or Noboa or Bukele, who is the neo-Nazi far right of Latin America. They first see at the north. Bukele heard about the exchange because he saw it, he watched it by teleSUR, and because he's a slave of the U.S. imperialism. He is just a pawn of the U.S. imperialism. We've got our sovereign policy. That's why we are capable of doing the miracles we have made. Those 252 boys that arrived at the Salvadoran prison, they arrived there and they said, "Welcome to the hell. You arrived to the cemetery of the alive." As anyone gets out here alive, and that's a psychological war. Then they told them that Maduro declared that he agreed on sending them over there, and the Sayona and all the opposition leaders supported that these boys were from the Tren de Aragua and accused them in an immoral way. These innocent boys. That's the way the imperialism acts. But they didn't count on our stunning, on our smartness. And so right now, I imagine that they are voting. And let's not wait for anyone. Let's not expect anything from anyone but ourselves. And so let's continue to be happy. Let's continue laughing at the life, at the sun. So let's not bitter our lives with that decaying, with that declining empires, building our popular democracy, the people for the people and with the people, building up our direct democracy. The democracy cannot be to vote every 4 years and then you get voted and then you left, and you have the democracy of the billionaires, that the only ones who could do campaigns are the ones that have billions, but the democracy must be of the common people, of the ordinary people, of the working class. That's why we have 5,336 communal circuits. And one of the items I raised in the government is that I am going to propose real goals to all mayors, governors of the country to advance in the consolidation and construction of 6,000 communes, consolidated communes with permanent activities. I put an example. We've made 4 annual consultations, one every 3 semesters. So this implies that communities must take all the real actions, go door by door, assembly, and that's democracy. That's the exercise of power from the basis. And then they propose there are 7 projects. Then there's the consultation. Then they vote, and then projects are approved, and then there goes the process of, to do the projects, to build a highway, a house of culture, and so as the case today, to the youth I say, attention youth, because the beautiful things are coming for you. There are gonna be 2 projects for each communal circuit. You, alongside the communal circuit, you will receive the resources, and then you will build your sports facilities and everything that you need. So we get involved the youth, who is a sector that in politics which is very forgotten and let aside, and so social media influence a lot to depoliticize the youth, and depoliticize the youth is a future adult slave of those who have the power. So we are coming here to all communal circuits that we are just delivering awards, prizes to the 10 communal circuits that get most voted, and so they have a double prize for the ones that have the most active turnout. We already did it on May 25th, and it went very well. So we've got 25 federal entities, and for 10 projects there are 250 special prizes. And so right now it's 2:47, and so it is at stake right now. So get mobilized, and let's support the popular consultation of the youth. Let's support the youth and everyone to elect their mayor and councilor. And so so I would like to know that how have you seen the day, if there is any incidents today? Well, this question is very important. Jorge Rodriguez said it in the morning, and everyone was laughing, and he said precisely that the electoral process has come on July 27th without any incident, and this has to be we have to insist on this, because we have to thank all the Bolivarian armed forces, the security forces, the police, the National Bolivarian Police, all the other security entities, and they are just patrolling on the streets because to take care of those terrorist groups, those flies. And so it gives results, because there have not been any incident, not a single one, not even a slap to a candidate or a councilor. Here people are very decent, not even a push, a slap, a shout or to any candidate. It has been a very joyful campaign. We have seen caravans, marches, visits, all political factors, over 56 political parties, and they have all been doing their campaigns, and it must be like this always. And it has been an exemplary electoral process. We hope that all exercise their right to vote. Let's wait for the bulletin of the National Electoral Council, and then come out to celebrate at peace with a lot of joy, with a lot of strength. And I was informed by the vice president of this Unified Socialist Party for mobilizations and events, Raul Fernandez, that tomorrow on July 28th, I took the opportunity to invite you, and during 10 days there are gonna be greatest musical events and popular marches to celebrate the first year of the heroical triumph over fascism that we've got on July 28th, 2024. So you are invited, all of you. And right now, today, when past 12, you will be remembering our Commander Chavez, because he said he was born in Sabaneta amid rainfalls at 4 a.m. on July 28th, 1954. That means that Commander Chavez, within a few hours, he would fulfill 71 years, and we felt it in the revolution. He is more alive than ever, so you are invited to the permanent celebrations. God bless Venezuela, and all, let's participate in this election. Thank you very much.
So we were listening to the statements of the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro after exercising his right to vote here at this school in the Venezuelan capital of Caracas. We are saying now, as he leaves the school, as we were saying, after participating in these electoral celebrations that's being held this Sunday, July 27th, he was referring his statements of the good development of the elections and how important is this electoral process that are taking place here in Venezuela, but also making emphasis on the youth consultation of the projects, of the commune projects, where the youth are taking the leader role in the development of a true democracy, as he has described it, a democracy that is truly participative and protagonist of the common people, which are the ones who have to have the power to decide on the future. The president also referred that for the first time in a very long time, he could truly say that Venezuela is truly independent and doesn't depend on anyone, and they are moving forward with their own efforts and their own hard work, and continues to improve the systems that they are trying to transform with the 70s to bring the power truly back to the people of Venezuela, as they continue to celebrate, making a call to people to go out to vote, and also announce that not only the first project of the consultation that wins in the votes will be supported with provided resources to be implemented, but also the one that comes in second place will also be supported by the government, and the resources will be provided. So over 5,000 projects, meaning that there will be in total over 10,000 projects, 12,000 projects are going to be supported coming out of this consultation held this Sunday. Stay tuned with teleSUR English for more updates as Venezuela continues to celebrate this historical election day.